Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a bit of a review, a bit of a make, a bit of a transfer of things, craft supplies, all that sort of stuff mixed into one. Now I've got all of these are all my, well, not all of them, these are all my seed beads that I had years and years ago. I've got more in a box sitting there. These are just the ones I've got pulled out, and they're all in these clear, like slide across containers, but they're very hard to get your finger down into. But yeah, anyway, they are what they are. I bought these years and years ago when our kids were probably late primary age, and that's a long time ago. And they were doing beading and they loved all that sort of stuff. Plus I've got a few other bits and pieces in some of these when I was doing beading when they all went to school. And I've got them all in a tub here, and I bought some containers on Temu, and I wanted to put them, instead of having like 5 stacks of beads sitting there, I wanted to just have 1 or 2 packets. So what I've been doing is, like, I was looking on Temu and I was thinking, why would I go and buy more like complete color palettes of beads when I've got so many beads in my box here? So I got the containers and I've been putting them into colorways in these containers. So I got 2, and I think that will give me my full color range once I've filled it up. So I've done the neutrals here, and now I've done the yellows, oranges and the reds in here, and then my other packet will have the other colors. So then instead of pulling like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different containers like this out, I can just pull 2 out, and I know I've got the extras sitting in those other containers in a tub. So that's what I've been doing. Now, years and years ago, we, as you would now, you come across the problem of, how do I transfer these tiny little beads into another container? Now, you can scoop them out. I've got a little spoon here that, the end came off, but the spoon bit's still there. This was a tiny little spoon that we got on our Emirates flight over to Europe, and I collected up all the little spoons because this, I think dessert, or no, your coffee came with this. And I collected up all the little spoons and kept them. But if you go on Teemu and those sorts of places, you can get little bead spoons these days. Back in the day, they didn't have stuff like this you could get. So that's my little spoon. I like to use tweezers, and I've got one of these grippy tools here that the little claws pop out, the jewelers use. And I've got a little pin because they get stuck in all sorts of places. Alright, so they're the tools that I use. But like I was saying, years ago we had the same problem. How do you safely transfer, especially when you've got young kids? Because a lot of my beads I've had to sort out because they were very mixed up because they had fun using them. But how do you transfer safely all these tiny little beads into another container without spilling them everywhere? And that was a huge problem, So years ago, I don't know whether it was one of my kids or we'd only just got the computer. That would have been, what year would that have been, Dave? 90... about 99? 98, 99?
No, mid.
Well, Ben was born in 95.
It was 5 when we got it.
Okay, so we would have been about 9?
I reckon about 2005.
About 2004, 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it was around that marker. We didn't come into the computer age that early, that we could actually afford, you know, with a little family of 3 on one income, that we could actually afford a computer. So, and our kids, you know, they took to it like duck to water, like all kids do. And they researched for me how to transfer beads, and one of them found a contraption that was hang on, let me get a bit of paper. Okay, one of them came up with a contraption that they'd found online, and it was, you know, the film canisters that you'd get your photographs, you know, your film would come in a little plastic film canister, and you'd put that into your camera, and you'd be left with this little plastic container. And they found an idea where you put a tube, so that's the back of it, okay, you put a tube in the bottom of the canister, and this lid pops off. So it has to be a container where the lid pops off, and then you put a tube that goes into the lid. Okay, now the tube that goes into the lid, you need to put some mesh over it. Okay, and then you put some mesh over it and seal it with a rubber band or glue or whatever. And the idea is that you suck air, suck in, and all the beads go up, and they land in the little canister, and you open up the top, and you have your beads safely in there. Okay, so this was years and years ago, and I was laying in bed the other day, and I was thinking, I'm going to have to transfer all these little beads, and I don't want to have problems with it. So I thought about this little canister that the kids had made, and they I tried to research it again, and I couldn't find anything on the internet. And I also researched mini vacuum cleaners, and I couldn't find anything on this, but I did find a little mini vacuum cleaner on Temu. Now this was advertised as picking up diamond painting beads, and I thought, oh wow, okay, perfect, because the diamond painting beads would be a similar size to all the beads that I have. So in the process of waiting for this to come, which I'll show you in a minute, I made myself one of these these sucky things. Now here is I'll show you the materials that I used. I went and bought these little sauce containers from the cheap shop, okay, and then I got home and I was like, oh gosh, now I've got to find a tube. So I was looking around, and these tubes that Temu sells their needles in were the perfect size. So I just took that off and got a sharp knife and cut the end. Now if you want to make this at home, you have to use a flexible plastic. It has to be flexible. Don't pick a plastic that's that hard, rigid stuff, because it'll just crack and break. So these were the two things that I needed, plus some glue. I used some E2000, but I can't show you that because I've used it all up and it's in the bin. These were the two things that I used to make my little sucky thing. Now if you've got a film canister, perfect. That's the perfect thing. Alright, so now I'll show you the one that I made. I sat here yesterday and I was like, I'm going to make one of these. So here's the lid and here's the container. What I did was get a Sharpie, and I put my tube in. Get it back out again. I just sat my tube in on top, right in the middle where I want it, and just went around with the Sharpie. Alright, and so you've got to do that on the bottom of the container, and you need to do that on the lid as well. Okay, so I put I traced two circles. Okay, one on the bottom of the container and one on the lid. I cut my tube in half. I cut that end off so it's a complete tube, and then cut it in half. Alright, after that, because this container is only shallow, you need to pay attention that you only bring your tube up just a little bit. You can sort of see it in there. Okay, don't let these two tubes meet. You've got to have a gap where the beads come out. Alright, so when I did that, I pushed them in just a little way, you can see inside there, and put some glue around the outside and let it set. Okay, I did get a split in this, so I just put the glue over it in case it sucked in air, but that's all sealed now. This one you do the same. You just push your tube in just a little way and put glue all around the outside. Now maybe some hot glue would do, I don't know, but I used the E2000 or 3000, and it seems to work okay. Now when you use this, you have to put some mesh on this top, the lid, the tube that goes on the lid, because if you don't, you're going to get beads in your lungs. That's not going to be good. So that might put some people off. But what I did was I found just a piece of, meshy stuff that I had in my stash, and I doubled it up. You could triple it up to make sure nothing gets in, and you put the mesh onto the end of that tube, and then I put a rubber band on, plus it's glued, the glue that seeped through here stuck to the mesh as well. Can you see that mesh? You can see that there better now. Okay, so you have to have that mesh on that top tube, because you don't want to be sucking anything in that you shouldn't be. Okay, that's the dangerous part of this project, and that's the part that when we made it with the kids, we made sure that part wasn't going to come off at all, and it was very secure. It was very, like, the mesh, I think we used something even closer weave than that when we did it with the kids, because I didn't want anything going in their little lungs. Alright, and then you put this on, and you put your mouth on the top one and you suck up. Alright, so that was the old school idea for transferring beads from here to another place safely. Now I'm going to give you a demo. I'm up to the reds here. These are all my excess in these bigger ones, and the ones in these packets, these are just the original ones that I had years ago. So if you don't have something and you're very creative, or you've got a hubby that's very creative at making things, that can cost you next to nothing, because I think 6 containers came in the one packet of this, and then the tubing was with those the needles that I got off Temu. So you could make a bead transfer for next to nothing. Alright, I'm going to show you how my little homemade one works, and excuse my head that's going to get in the camera, because I need to get close to it to do it with my mouth. But you'll be surprised how quick and efficient that sucks up your beads in comparison to the one I got off Temu, which I'll show you in a minute. Right, so I'll just sit it up, because yeah, then my mouth mightn't get in your way. All right, big breath. Okay, so 2 big breaths, and I got quite a few beads in that container. Now you get in there. Alright, and probably way too many for my container here that I'm going to transfer. right, so that the beads are all in there safe. Just don't tip it back that way, of course, because they could come out. And I am going to, I've got a tray here because I found it best not to transfer them from this, but to transfer them into a tray that's got a plug hole on it. This one's got a plug I can take on and off. So open the container, tip your beads out, close that back up, and then I take my little plug out, put my finger over it and tap them all down to the bottom. And yeah, this is going to be way too many beads for that. And then I just transfer my beads so I've got too many, so I'll put the rest back. So probably one sack would be enough to fill this little box, because this is just a box I can get out and use. I know I've got excess. This is just one that, you know, yeah, I can have less things on the table. So let's try that again with our another colour. I might do this red around this way. I have got a couple of different reds, but I think, yeah, they're all the excess are in this one. Alright, so let's just do one big suck. Well, it's like that, what is it, when you're in hospital and you have an operation, and if they want you to clear your lungs, they give you this little thing where you don't blow, you suck, and you have to move the little balls. I've done that a few times different times when I've been in hospital. Yeah, to get your lungs working. Alright, so this is like that. It gives you a bit of a workout. Ready? Alright, one suck. That'll probably be enough. Alright, I'll get my my tray. And that sucks them up so fast. I really like this method. But if you're paranoid about that sucking something up that you shouldn't into your lungs, then don't use this. I'll show you the other one in a minute. But look, nothing's coming through there. It's doubled up. You could put triple of that stuff on there even, and I haven't felt like anything sucked up into me. So alright, tap my beads down to the bottom, and I'm going to put them into my little container. Got too many there too, just in one suck. Now I'm going to show you this in comparison with the one I got on Temu. So that's the little homemade one, and I love it. I think it's brilliant. Now, this little one I got off Temu, it uses batteries, and it came with a well, it comes with instructions, but I don't think you can read half of them. Oh yeah, it does got English instructions. Now it's advertised, some of them are advertised as desk vacuum cleaners. It came with a little brush, and it came with a little spout, which is very important. If you're going to buy one of these for beads, make sure it comes with a spout, because you're not going to suck up your beads just by using it like that. All right, you're going to need this white, or this little spout that comes with it. Now let me see if I can find how much this cost for you. This cost almost next to nothing. I think the bag of 6 was $3, so this cost me 50 cents to make. Okay. Cost me $5.37. That's pretty good if you don't want to be sucking. But it does not work near as efficient as this one, which I will show you. Okay, see, this is advertised as a diamond painting tool, drill picker, quicker picker for spilled diamonds, accessory vacuum cleaner, mini table desktop sweeper. Anyway, let's compare this, because when it comes to it, if you want to be fast at this, I would choose the 50-cent option, but it takes a bit of creativity to make it, that's all. Right, now let's get our mini vacuum cleaner. What was I up to next? I've done those two. I'll do this one. Alright, I'll just show you the parts. It comes with a little spout, or don't get one if it does. If you want to do beads, don't get one unless it has that. Okay, so you put the little spout in there. Like with a desktop, you would just go turn it on and run it over your desk, and it's supposed to pick up your garbage, your little bits of garbage. Alright, so put that on. You take this off, like you can see some beads that are trapped in there that I've been using already. Oh, that went somewhere in the cabin. Alright, it's got a little filter in there too, and then you just pop that on. The on off button here, you pull that, and that's where your batteries are in here. Now I did see an option that had USB, but it was about $14 or $15. It was a lot dearer, so that could be an option to look into. But I figure sort of the batteries are going to last a fair bit. Alright, so that there is the on-off switch. And let's compare this now. Remember, I did one suck to fill that little thing. Let's see how many, or how efficient it is to do this. Now I've had a play with it, and I've found that you can't just hold it down and go and suck everything up. It doesn't work that way with this, because the beads fly around in here, and you have to tip it every now and then to fill this container down here. So let's have a go. Alright, let's see how many beads I got in here. Not near as much as what I would have got with one pass with that. Now you can't just keep going, because the fuller this gets, the less it sucks. So you have to do it in a few different goes, I found. So let's give it another go. And you have to tip it as you go, because like I said, the beads get stuck in here, so you have to tip it back. Now as you're turning this around to open it, don't put your thumb on the the on off button. I did that and beads flew everywhere because the fan was still going. That was fun. Alright, let's see how many beads I've got in there and whether it'll fill my little section here. I'm just going to take the plug off this tray and tap them all down to the end. Okay, so that didn't quite fill it, and I've gone twice with the little vacuum cleaner. I might go one more time. And transfer then my beads. So it's sort of taking me at least 3 goes to it's good to just turn it on and make sure there's nothing stuck in there, because every now and then a little bead will get stuck between the ridge and the fan. So it's good every time you do it, just check it, because you don't want it busting on you. Alright. And I'll just put my finger over the end, tap them down, and put them into my box. Alright, so that is the comparison between that and that. You can see this works so much better, especially if you've got a good lung capacity. Or I was even thinking, if you had some sort of tube, you could hook it up to your little vacuum cleaner. That, like, we've got a little handheld vacuum cleaner, and that may work too. You know, if you put a tube from here to your vacuum cleaner, that's an option. That's an option. So they're the two comparisons between something that's homemade for 50 cents and something, or this, how much did I say this one cost me? I don't know, between $5 and $14 and I've seen them higher than that, 20 something. So maybe the dearer ones could work a little better, but if you don't like to suck, this will work. It'll just take you a lot longer to fill, to do the job. All right, what else have we got in here? Let's do a couple more. We'll finish the reds anyway, and get that into my box. Whoops. Be careful you don't spill them everywhere. They're just, I've had these beads for years, and it's just, I never wanted to throw them out because they just cost a lot these days. And back in the day when we were getting these, we got a lot of, look, see, that was way too many for that. We got a lot of these from a cheap shop that was near our home that I think they were only like 50 cents and $1 a packet, and we just went to town with them. So what else have I got in here that I can put with the reds? I've got those two in there. I sort of didn't want to go right into the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's the 4. Oh yeah, I haven't done this one here yet. Alright, there's a little shiny red one. And look, I'm just going to do it with my sucky tool. That's what I call it, the sucky tool. What would you call it, Dave? Mouth vacuum. There you go. It's a mouth vacuum. That sounds better than sucky tool, doesn't it? Okay, put my finger over the end. And that's another one in there. Safe and sound. Without any dramas. Alright, I think the last one I'll put in here is this one on the end. It's like almost like a peachy colour. And then I'm going to have one spare on the end. Oh, that's going to really bug me. That's going to really bug me. Come on, have I got another red somewhere? Where's my boxes? Oh, I know what I could put in there. Where is it? It's this one. It's a really dark, dusty pink, maybe. Maybe I could put that in there. That might look nice. Alright. Alright, so I'll go this one, which is a apricot-y colour. Alright, yeah, that's way too much. Okay. That will do for those ones. And then I'll get this one. I'll do this one with this little vacuum cleaner. think that's the only one I've got of this. It's like a really dark, dusty pink. Alright, so that's my first box done. And I will go on to do the pinks. In the next box I'll do the pinks, purples, blues and greens. Pinks, purple, blues, green, yeah. Alright, so that is a look and a test drive of a vacuum cleaner, mini vacuum cleaner, versus something that you can make at home to transfer your beads. Okay, or pick your beads up off the table, or, you know, whatever's going on. I think that one would be the best, just for picking up a little mess off the table. Look, I'll try this over here. There's yeah, see, that just picks up the odd one or two. Really awesome. So, you know, if you're not moving a lot of beads, then something like that is cool, just for desk cleanup. And if you don't want, you know, all your beads just going on the floor and you're sweeping them up the vacuum cleaner, then something like this is just awesome. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed looking at that today, and it's given you some inspiration, or, you know, just another gadget you can have in your craft area that is going to be helpful. Alright, so if you're new here, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. I like trying out things like this that can help me in my craft area. Please give me a thumbs up, a like and a share. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you've got one of these and what you think of it. And let me know what you think of my little 50-cent contraption. Some would be really turned off, and I understand that, just for the fact that you are sucking upwards. And but others, you know, you might like it. Alright, take care, and I'll see you soon for a new video. Bye.